You're standing in line at a coffee shop on a Thursday morning. The person in front of you orders, taps their card, grabs their cup, and walks out. 12 seconds. Completely unremarkable. You do the same thing. Tap, grab, go, nothing happened. Just a coffee, except something did happen. In those 12 seconds, at least 4 separate financial institutions made money from that single transaction. The coffee shop paid for the privilege of accepting your card. You paid a fee you never saw on a statement. Your bank collected a cut. The card network collected a cut. And if you used a rewards card, a portion of what the merchant paid funded the points you're quietly proud of earning. Nobody told you any of that. The machine is designed so you don't have to know. But once you see it, you cannot unsee it. And the total cost of not seeing it across a lifetime of transactions is not a rounding error. This video is about how banks make money every single time you spend. Not just on obvious things like overdraft fees and interest charges, on the transaction itself, on the act of paying for something, on the infrastructure that sits between your wallet and every merchant you've ever bought anything from. And I'll warn you now, the rewards card part is going to make some of you genuinely angry because it's the most elegant piece of misdirection in consumer finance. My name is Gaurav, and I spend a genuinely unreasonable amount of time pulling apart the financial systems that feel neutral but aren't. If you've ever felt like the math should be working better than it is, subscribe and hit that like button because today, we're following the money through every single layer of a transaction most people consider completely free. Quick thing first, not a financial advisor, not financial advice, just the infrastructure manual they never handed you at the bank. Let me introduce you to 2 people, Priya and Sam. Same neighborhood, same income, same Thursday morning coffee habit. Priya pays cash. Sam pays with his travel rewards Visa. Sam feels like he's winning, he's earning points on every purchase, he's getting something back. Priya just spent money and got nothing extra. Except Priya's coffee cost her $4.75. Sam's coffee cost the merchant $4.61 after the card network and bank took their cut. That gap didn't disappear, it went somewhere. And where it went is the entire story of this video. Hold on to them. We'll come back. Here's the framing that makes all of this click. Every time you pay with a card, debit, credit, rewards, doesn't matter, the transaction passes through a 4-layer system before it settles. Each layer takes a cut. Most people are only vaguely aware that one of these layers exists. Almost nobody knows all 4. And the combined take from all 4 layers on American consumer spending runs into the hundreds of billions of dollars annually. Funded almost entirely by people who thought they were just buying things. The 4 layers are the card network, the issuing bank, the acquiring bank, and the payment processor. Let's go through each one because understanding them changes how you see every purchase you make for the rest of your life. Layer 1. The card network. Visa, MasterCard, American Express, Discover. These are not banks. Most people don't know that. They don't hold your money. They don't issue your card. What they do is operate the rails. The infrastructure that connects your bank to the merchant's bank in the fraction of a second between your tap and the approval beep. For operating those rails, they charge what's called an interchange assessment fee. It's a small percentage of every transaction. Fractions of a percent. Sounds tiny. Visa processed roughly $14.8 trillion in payment volume in a recent fiscal year. Fractions of a percent of $14.8 trillion is not tiny. It's a business model that generates billions annually from infrastructure most consumers have never thought about for 30 consecutive seconds. Layer 2. The issuing bank. This is your bank, the one whose name is on your card. When you swipe, your bank guarantees the payment to the merchant's bank instantly before they've even confirmed the money is in your account. For that guarantee and for the risk they're taking, they collect the largest single cut of the transaction. It's called the interchange fee and it's paid by the merchant, not by you directly. For a standard credit card, it runs roughly 1.5% to 2.5% of the transaction. For a premium rewards card, it can run higher. The merchant pays it every single time regardless of whether they wanted to accept cards or not. Because in the modern economy, not accepting cards isn't a real option. Layer 3. The acquiring bank. This is the merchant's bank, the one that processes the payment on their side. They charge the merchant a separate fee for the service of connecting to the card networks and settling the funds into the merchant's account. Smaller than the interchange fee, but present on every single transaction. Layer 4. The payment processor. Sometimes this is the same entity as the acquiring bank. Sometimes it's a separate company like Square or Stripe or Toast. They handle the technical side of the transaction and charge a processing fee on top of everything else. Put it all together, and a merchant accepting a credit card payment is typically paying somewhere between 1.5% and 3.5% of every transaction to the four-layer system. On a $4.75 coffee, that's between 7 and 17 cents per cup. Sounds negligible. A coffee shop doing $800,000 in annual revenue, paying an average of 2.5% in card fees, is writing a check for $20,000 a year to the payment infrastructure, for doing nothing except giving customers the ability to pay the way they prefer. Now here's where it gets interesting. And by interesting, I mean slightly infuriating. Those merchant fees don't stay with the banks and networks in isolation. A significant portion of them fund something specific. They fund your rewards. When Sam earns travel points on his Visa, the economics work like this. The merchant pays the interchange fee. The issuing bank collects it. The issuing bank then uses a portion of that collected interchange to fund Sam's points. Sam feels like the bank is giving him something. The bank is actually redistributing a portion of what the merchant paid into a loyalty program designed to make Sam use the card more and spend more per transaction. It's not generosity. It's a retention mechanism funded by a fee the merchant had no choice but to pay. And here's the part that should make Priya feel vindicated. Studies consistently show that merchants respond to card processing fees by raising prices slightly across the board to maintain margins. Which means Priya, paying cash, is subsidizing Sam's rewards points through the higher prices she pays as a cash customer in a world where card fees have been baked into retail pricing. Let me say that clearly. Cash customers pay higher prices because card fees inflate retail costs. Those higher prices fund rewards programs that benefit card users. If you pay cash, you are funding other people's airline miles. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau estimated that rewards programs transfer roughly $15 billion annually from lower-income Americans, who are more likely to use cash or basic debit cards, to higher-income Americans, who are more likely to use premium rewards cards. The reward system isn't neutral. It's a wealth transfer mechanism dressed up as a loyalty program. Now let's talk about the layer most people do think about: interest. Because while interchange is invisible, interest is the engine that makes the entire credit card business model work at scale. The average credit card interest rate in 2024 crossed 21%. The average American household carrying credit card debt carries about $6,300 of it. At 21%, that's roughly $1,323 in annual interest on that balance, per household, paid to the issuing bank, for the privilege of spending money they'd already earned. Here's the math that reframes this completely. $1,323 a year in credit card interest invested at 7% over 30 years is $124,000. Not from a massive sacrifice. From stopping one fee that most people don't think of as optional. The banks understand this math better than almost anyone, which is why the interest rate business model and the rewards business model work together so elegantly. The rewards attract the spending attracts the balance generates the interest, and the interest is where the real money is. The interchange is the appetizer, the interest is the main course. But here's the research that reframes all of this in the most useful way. A 2022 study from the Federal Reserve Bank of Boston examined the relationship between payment method and spending behavior. What they found was that credit card users spend measurably more per transaction than cash users on identical purchases. The effect is consistent and well documented. When payment is abstract, a tap, a swipe, a number on a screen, the psychological friction of spending decreases and transaction size increases. When payment is physical, handing over bills, watching cash leave your hand, spending decreases. The card infrastructure isn't just extracting fees from transactions. It's psychologically engineered to increase the size of those transactions. The tap-to-pay experience wasn't designed for your convenience. It was designed to minimize the moment of friction that might cause you to reconsider the size of your purchase. Now here's the practical framework. 3 moves that address the 3 layers of the bank's revenue model directly. Move 1 addresses interchange and merchant fees. For purchases above $50 at small local businesses, ask if they offer a cash discount. Many merchants will discount 2% to 3% for cash because that's exactly what they're paying in card fees. You capture the savings they're passing on. They keep the margin they were losing. The card network gets nothing. This isn't widely advertised because the card networks prohibit merchants from surcharging card transactions in most states, but cash discounts are generally permitted and increasingly offered. Move 2 addresses the rewards trap. Use rewards cards only if you pay the full balance every single month without exception. The moment you carry a balance, the interest rate destroys the value of every point you've earned, and then some. A 2% cashback card with a 21% interest rate on a carried balance isn't a rewards card. It's a 19% net penalty card with a marketing department. The rewards are real. The math only works if the balance goes to zero monthly. If it doesn't, the bank wins the exchange every single time. Move 3 addresses the psychological spending effect. For discretionary purchases, introduce physical friction deliberately. Withdraw a set weekly cash amount for variable spending, restaurants, entertainment, coffee, impulse purchases. When the cash is gone, that category is done for the week. The research is consistent that cash spending produces lower totals than card spending on identical categories. You're not restricting yourself. You're removing the infrastructure that's been quietly inflating your transaction sizes since you got your first card. Priya and Sam, by the way. Sam earns about $340 in travel points a year on his spending. He carries an average balance of $2,100 at 19% interest. His annual interest charge is roughly $399. His net position on the rewards card after interest is negative $59 annually. He thinks he's winning. The bank knows exactly what's happening. Priya pays cash for most variable spending. She negotiates a cash discount at her regular coffee shop and 2 other local spots she frequents. She's capturing roughly $180 a year in discounts that never show up in any rewards statement because they never had to be redistributed from anyone's interchange fees in the first place. Same neighborhood, same income. Same Thursday morning coffee, completely different relationship with the infrastructure between their wallet and the world. Here's the truth I'd want a friend to tell me directly. The payment system isn't neutral. It never was. It's a 4-layer revenue model that sits invisibly between every transaction you make and extracts value from each one in ways calibrated specifically to remain beneath your awareness threshold. The tap was designed to be frictionless. The frictionlessness was designed to increase your spending. The increased spending was designed to increase the probability of a balance. The balance was designed to generate interest. And the interest was designed to run indefinitely. The coffee is $4.75. What funds the infrastructure around the coffee is something else entirely. You can still buy the coffee. Just know what you're actually paying for. If this changed how you think about the tap you make 50 times a month, drop a comment telling me whether you use cash or cards for most of your daily spending. I actually read them. And if you want the full picture on the invisible taxes that hit your paycheck before you even get to spend it, that video is on the screen right now. Go watch that one next. I'll see you in it.